folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I wanted to make a video today because there is a lot of stuff going on in the news about all these hoarders that are causing these shortages. And they're finally admitting that there's shortages and that there's food shortages next, that you need to get ready because there's food shortages. But it's all your fault, you crazy hoarding preppers. And so I did a little research because I wanted to see, is there actually any evidence to back up their statement? Because as we all know, those in the White House and those in the mainstream media would never ever lie to us. They never do. They always are very truthful. But I wanted to just see if there's any evidence to back that up. And what I found is, well, surprisingly, there is none. And I believe that we're being lied to. I know that's shocking to a lot of you. And so, when they're lying to us, which is pretty much any time they open their mouth, but when they're very openly doing it, when they're admitting that there's a problem but lying to us about it, I think that's a little bit of caution there and a little time to pause, because it means that they know that this is coming. They know that this is happening. They know that shortages and food shortages in grocery stores is going to happen. They're just trying to spin the narrative to blame someone, to throw blame somewhere. And so that's one reason, a big reason why we need to be getting ready. So I want to show you this. Number one, there's articles already out there letting us know that the food shortages, that's the next thing, right? I mean, we haven't had it already. We haven't been seeing hundreds and hundreds of pictures on a daily or weekly basis all over the country of store shelves being empty, of stores doing little things like pulling food out to the front of the shelf to make it look like that there's stuff on the shelf, but there really isn't. And so they're letting us know that this food shortages is coming next. But like I said, it's all because people are hoarding. It's because of them crazy preppers. It's because of these crazy people that they're hoarding food. And so as I was trying to dig in and try to find some information to see if there's any data whatsoever to back this up, I've come across this website, and it's, as you can see here, this is the headline from the website. And it's a website that deals exclusively in the grocery store industry. And it says that sales in grocery stores is up 7.5% this year over last year. It's up about 0.5% since last month. And so while that sounds like, well, see, sales are up. Number one, it makes me wonder how in the world, I mean, is our system so fragile that just a 7% increase in sales is going to cause, this much chaos and this much, warning that we're going to have shortages, food shortages. But I wanted to get into where this 7.5% number comes from. Number one, in the article, it very clearly shows that, other stuff's gone up in overall sales too. In fact, gasoline, car parts purchases, different manufacturing parts, things like that, the sales of those have increased at approximately the same level as groceries. And I'm wondering, that's kind of strange. So you mean everyone's hoarding manufacturing parts and car parts and gasoline and everything? That seems kind of strange that everyone in the country, or at least a lot of people, are hoarding this kind of stuff up along with their groceries. But in the article, it points out, look at this, that part of this is due to, inflation. And that's what I've been saying, that a big part of it is because of inflation. If a store makes, say, does 100,000 in sales in a month, and then inflation goes up 5 or 7 or 10%, and they sell the same amount of stuff the next month, I would think that their sales is going to reflect that. It's going to show that there's been a 5, 7, 10% increase in sales, even though the actual amount of goods sold is the same, simply because the price of those goods have gone up. And that's why we're seeing an increase in sales number with gasoline, an increase in sales number with everything. It's because inflation has gone up, and these sales numbers are the actual dollar amount sales. It's not the amount of gasoline sold or the amount of bread in a grocery store that's sold. It's just the actual dollar amount. And so if the price of these goods have gone up, then obviously the amount of total sales dollars is going to go up. And so the article does point that out, that's one That's one thing that's causing this. And so as I dig deeper, here's some data here on grocery store sales year after year. And this website, it goes back about 30 years, and you can look at grocery store sales each year going back to about 30 years ago. And if you look at the numbers year over year, some numbers, there's not much of an increase each year, but on average, it appears to be about a 5 to 7% sales increase from grocery stores each year. Interesting. So even if there is an actual real 7% increase this year in grocery store sales over last year, then, well, that would be kind of normal. And it would be strange that all of a sudden this year's sales increase would cause all these shortages. So as I dig a little bit deeper, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, we still have states, and especially the big cities, that have restrictions on restaurants. In some states and some big cities, you have to have some type of vaccine mandate, proof to go into the store, to the restaurant, or they're making you wear this. There's some type of restriction. In fact, these are in the big ones, like, say, California, New York City, LA, where there's a lot of population. And I thought, well, probably, just common sense is that there's probably not as many people going to restaurants as there once were because of all of this. And if they're not going to restaurants, then they're probably, they got to still eat, right? So if you're used to going to a restaurant to eat and you don't, you're going to be eating at home, which means you need to buy more groceries. And in fact, that's actually the case. While restaurant sales has gone up this year, over last year, which was abysmal because so many of them were forced to shut down, it's still considerably low. In fact, it's about 8% lower than what they believe it should be. And so, 8% lower in restaurant sales, and people still have to eat, and a 7% increase in grocery store sales, kind of sounds like that's probably where the sales are. The point being, folks, is that there's no evidence that I can find to indicate that people are actually going out there and buying in mass, that there's enough people out there hoarding and buying up all the stuff, all the food, to cause massive shortages. We all know that this is a lie. I don't think that I'm convincing anyone necessarily watching this channel on a regular basis. I did want to put this information out because I'm sure that some of you are going to have to deal with friends and family and coworkers and stuff that say, the news is saying it's because of all you crazy preppers. You crazy preppers are hoarding stuff up, and it's causing shortages for the rest of us. And so I wanted to show you some actual data to prove that this is not correct. And for those of you that are preparing, those of you that are waking up and that have been awake for probably years or decades even, and have been in this preparation mode, this is something to take serious, that they're definitely talking about that. This is in the mainstream news now, okay? Just a few weeks ago, it was alternative news sources. Different YouTube channels like mine have been, talking about this, warning people that there is a coming food shortage. And then now, mainstream is talking about this. Even the White House is talking about this. And of course, they're shifting the blame to someone else. But the fact is that they are admitting that there are coming food shortages in America. And I believe that we're going to start seeing, we're already seeing that happen. It's not usually in most places, it's not to the level that people just aren't getting their stuff and they're going hungry. They're having to buy different things. They may have to be going to a different store to get what they need, or they're just choosing not to purchase those items that they normally would purchase. But I do believe that it's going to start getting to the point, most likely this winter, where we're going to start seeing people not actually getting enough food, not being able to purchase enough stuff to take care of their needs at home, because there just isn't enough stuff to go around. There's just not enough food. And this is why you need to be stocking up. You need to be preparing. For most of you, it's too late in the year to obviously plant a garden, but you certainly need to be getting ready for that for next year, because this problem is not going to just go away. So next spring, when it's time to put your gardens out, you need to take that serious and start planting as much food as you can. But between now and then, you need to be stocking up on everything you can, because this isn't about people going out and hoarding and buying up large quantities of food. This is about there not being enough food, folks. There's just not enough to go around. Not that there's not enough on the planet. There's not enough to go around that's actually in distribution. Most of it's probably being stuck on in different parts of the industry, different parts of the supply chain, stuck on trains, stuck on ships, stuck in, you know, different lots, sitting waiting for a truck to pick it up. Whatever it is, we're seeing actual shortages happen. Not that like I said, I want to make this clear because I always get someone to counter this. It's not that there's not enough food overall. It's that there's not enough food being moved to the places that it needs to be so that people like yourself can purchase it. And we're going to start seeing this kind of cascading effect, I believe. And there's going to be much more to it. And it's going to, I'm sure, be used as a reason that, you know, this is a problem. This is why we need more government overreach. This is why we need more restrictions. This is why we need to restrict how many people can go to the store, and blah, 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 blah. I think you can kind of see the pattern that's probably going to form out of this. So folks, get yourselves ready. I would take this serious if I was you, because it's now a mainstream story. And like I said a week or two ago, as this story becomes more mainstream, as more people are aware of it, that's when the panic is going to start kicking in. That's when a lot of the people that are just asleep out there in the world are going to start getting a little nervous. They know that Thanksgiving, Christmas, kids coming home for holidays, things like that is coming up, and they're going to start getting worried that they're not going to be able to get enough stuff, enough food to take care of all that. And so that's when they're going to start going out and panic buying. And that's when the actual, you know, the actual real problem is going to start happening, because people are going to go out there and panic buy, and then we're going to see some real shortages because the supply chain can't keep up. It can't keep up on normal purchasing right now. Do you think that even if 5% or 10% of the population wakes up tomorrow and starts panic buying, that the supply chain could hold up? Absolutely not. It's not going to take much to cause it to collapse. So folks, get ready, get your house in order, prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video.